Is. You guys, if we can stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everybody, welcome. Kathy, if you could do a roll call, please.
You got it. Saban. Bartleson. Here. Lobes.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Galogly.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
Karas.
Here.
Kostecki. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, Stephen Arsek's here to open us up.
Dear God, we just thank you for the warm temperatures we have been experiencing. We definitely appreciate it, and thank you for our great city and how we live in peace and we live in safety here, and at all the new businesses that are coming in and a thriving downtown. I just ask that you would continue to bless the businesses and give the business owners wisdom in helping their business grow. And I thank you for all the council members and all the people that make this city work and run. I just ask that you would bless this meeting, Lord, that you would give them guidance and direction and wisdom in making the decisions that they have to make. And thank you for all our first responders. Our police officers have go on calls, and when they go on these calls, that you would keep them safe. Thank you for the safety that we have experienced in our city with them, and what they have wisdom when they pull people over or go on certain calls, guide and direct them. And with the fire personnel, keep them safe. And thank you for how they help all of us in time of need. Again, thanks for everything, and bless this meeting. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right, my friends. Anybody got anything for liaison reports?
I got a couple things. So first of all, Restaurant Week is coming up, Lockport Restaurant Week. It's February 27th through March 12th. All the details are on eatlockport.com. That's eatlockport.com, and there will be over 10 restaurants participating. Something from the Summer Art Series is there is a Valentine's story going on in downtown Lockport. You can swing into Amazing Comics and grab this book by Justin Castadina. It's really cute, and you can walk around the downtown area, and certain windows have pictures and illustrations that kind of go along with the story of the book. It's really cute.
Right on.
Awesome.
Thank you, Renee. Anybody else got anything?
Just a reminder, Mayor and members of the council, we will have an open house on Thursday, March 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. This is about the new avenue, potential new intersection with a signalized light there, and we'll be open to the public to get feedback, and you can see the little imagery there on your sign. So we're looking forward to having that on March 2nd.
Okay. Women's right there.
All right, I just want to call everybody's attention to the city website. The City of Lockport 2023 budget has been posted up there. Encourage people to go there and take a look at it. If you scroll down through the Finance and Human Resources and scroll down to the budgets, select the link to see the most recent. You'll see a 258-page document prepared by the staff here. Phenomenal job. If you ever want to know where your money is being spent and how wisely it's being spent, it's well worth the read, so take a look at it. One other point of interest, every year the finance group submits their proposal to a GFOA, which stands for Government Finance Officers Association. This is a group of their peers that go and look at their budgets, how they're presented, and the content thereof. And for the last 8 years, we've won representation there in terms of how well the budget's been presented and the content of it. So thank the city for the work that they do and how wise they spend our money and guide us. So thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. All right.
Next item, I've got an unusual one, Mayor, if
Yeah, please.
your indulgence here. So we've got a combined purchase opportunity that we want to do. We have some committee funds that for Christmas in the Square, there's a committee that brings funds together, the township, the city, and the park district. Those funds are now being controlled by the city, and we want to buy some holiday lights for Christmas in the Square, but we're also being opportunistic. The vendor has a a sale of sorts going on right now. It's a 33% discount, so we wanted to retrofit some of the street lighting, holiday lights. It would be wrapping all the street lights in the downtown. So the combined purchase would be about $30,000. About 17 or 18,000 would come from this shared partnership a fund, and about 13,000 from city funds, but together would be 30. Typically, if we had time, we would bring a memo and a full explanation, but we just kind of figured this out this week and wanted to, if there's no objection, we wanted to proceed with the purchase of some holiday lights in the tune of $30,000. About 13 of that is from city funds, about 17 or 18 of that would be from this committee fund that we received about $40,000 from them last year when we closed out the fiscal period. So if there's no objections, we want to move forward. Otherwise, if we want, we can go with our regular process. It's just we tried to confirm with the company twice that we're not able to get that sale price if we don't do it before March 1st, which
Why
is
are
our
they,
next meeting.
why are they doing this?
Well,
I mean,
it's
we're
after the holidays.
buying $30,000 worth of Christmas lights.
We have, again, we received $40,000 from the committee, and the committee is looking to add more attractions and lighting in the
I understand that. My thing is, why are they putting our feet to the fire
Oh.
and telling us, oh, it's a big sale, it's a
Well,
big sale?
after January, these companies do this. They have certain, they have catalogs that are discounted, and maybe we were a little late in researching it, but they're only available until they're gone. They are holding them for us. They won't hold it beyond the end of the month. Therefore, I'm here asking this in a strange format to save the 33% that would be available. The opportunity of adding street lighting, I mean, we could not do those and pay a little more for the smaller purchase for the street lighting on our own, and we wouldn't even necessarily bring council action to it. But when we combine those purchases, it's more than 20. I didn't feel comfortable proceeding without at least some consent from the council.
Sure.
I'm fine with it, too.
Okay,
All right, thanks, Ben.
thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh, yeah, please, what do you got?
Just wanted to mention that the Conventional Site Plan Review Committee met on Tuesday morning and approved the parking lot reconstruction project at Walsh. That'll be starting this summer.
All right,
Excellent.
mucho grazie. All right, then we'll jump into it. Ben, what do you got with Mad
Thank you.
Bomber?
Mayor and members of the council, Resolution 23011 is approving a 3-year agreement with Mad Bomber Fireworks Productions to provide fireworks on July 3rd here in the city of Lockport. The city of Lockport presents these fireworks in conjunction with the Lockport Township Park District at Delwood Park on July 3rd each year. The market continues to change. We went out and tried to get pricing and bids from different companies. There were 2 firms that were interested. One of them had a hard time meeting the availability of July 3rd or 4th for 2023. Our current vendor did have us slated for that. We did receive some additional funding from the Park District this year, about $3,500 that we can apply towards the fireworks cost. So Mad Bomber Productions has offered to do it for $22,000. And then if we want, we can extend for 24 and year 25 with only a $1,000 increase per year, which when I talked to other vendors, that is actually, they thought was a pretty good deal. They had a hard time competing with it. We're pleased with the Mad Bomber productivity. The fire district is confident in their abilities, and so I think it's fine to go ahead and have them do these for July 3rd and maintain that tradition. It is a little bit discounted because it's July 3rd, not July 4th, but it's worked well for the city of Lockport, so.
All right, any questions, concerns?
I have a question.
Sure.
Are we locked into like a certain time? Say we wanted to reach out to, and I don't know if we've ever looked into this, local businesses sponsoring, say, reach out to Homer Tree and say, hey, Ron, would you give us 5,000, 10,000 to go above the 22, make it a longer show, make it, better? Are those options available to us, or are we limited to it must end at a certain time? We can only, or can we make it as big as we want? And we ever thought about reaching out to the community and saying, hey, if you'd like it bigger, we could appreciate your help?
We certainly could do that. We have asked the fireworks companies when we got pricing for about a 20-minute show. It's usually about $1,000 a minute. So if you want a 30-minute show, it would be probably about $30,000. I'm sure that if we talk to them, if we get additional sponsors and we want a longer show, we could certainly do that. I'm sure they would agree to honor the pricing for additional fireworks. The other thing is, I guess haven't ever done that before, but it's certainly something we could do, is to try to raise sponsorships for the fireworks. We've underwritten them, gosh, probably since, I guess I've been here as long as I can remember. We provided the fireworks, the park district provided the staff and the labor and the site. I want to say we discussed it once about 6, 8 years ago, about them contributing funds, but they give us $6,500 a year for the Christmas in the Square, and this year they did raise it to $10,000, so that's why we have the extra $3,500 to help with the fireworks costs, because they continue to go up. But yes, we could try to seek sponsorships to do more. I think the only challenge is we have a lot of special events, and we all hit the same sponsors for certain amounts and things, and it'd just be one more strain. But we certainly could, use it to underwrite the cost and lower the budgets, or we could try to do it and have additional time. Everyone seems to be pretty pleased. I haven't heard anyone else say they want a longer time, but we can certainly do a survey or something, and if we feel like we want to make them longer, we certainly could talk to them about that. So I'm not concerned about if we're going to, I'm okay proceeding with this contract and talking to the vendor, and it's committee of the whole. I can certainly get you some more information for the next one, next meeting. But if we want to do longer, I'm sure they would do it. They would just charge us more, right, at the same rate.
So, Ben, I just wanted to ask, if we do decide to reach out to, the companies and the businesses in the city, let them know that maybe we can do some kind of recognition for them, whether it's an announcement of this is your sponsors. I think, when you reach out that way, they're more apt to say, okay, I'm getting a little free advertising on this, so just kind of extend a little bit more to the, gratitude that we have for them to participate and give them the recognition that they deserve.
For sure.
All right. Jerry, you can hit up that pipe company you work for, man.
My contractors have supplied a lot of donations to this town.
All right, man. All right, so, very good. Thanks, guys. So consent, we're good with that?
Yes.
All right. All right, next is AT1. What do you got, Sonny?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and the members of the City Council. The amendment to Section 152.21 is basically to expedite the closure of a lot of these construction work. We have contractors that are required to deposit cash bond whenever they do work. It could be roofing, it could be adding a new pool, but by the time that they're done with the project, it may be maybe a couple $100 left, and that fund just sits there allocated in a separate fund, and they don't request reimbursement. It could be a year-old or two-year-old, but it's, and plus they may not request a final inspection. So the amendment to Section 152.21 is efficiency. It's to make sure that these projects get resolved, and we don't have that outstanding balance sitting out there. This provision will allow the city to forfeit any balance that's left if it's not requested for reimbursement within 1 year after the closure of the project, or the contractor doesn't request a final inspection. So minor amendment to the city code to kind of expedite these projects. So if there's any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Nobody objects, we'll do consent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonny. All right, what do we got? CD1.
So this is a amendment to Chapter 150 of the Historic Preservation Code. It's Ordinance 23005. We are proposing an amendment to Chapter 150, which basically governs our Heritage and Architecture Commission. The modifications that we're proposing basically consist of restructuring various sections of the chapter and emphasizing certain things such as procedures, review criteria, and our new design guidelines. We did add a new section in there because it was a little bit ambiguous about jurisdiction, and added more clear maps in the code so that people know exactly where the historic district is and where the National Historic District is, because we do have two of them. We have procedural changes for the current building permit processes. We referenced a secretary in there that was supposed to be appointed by the mayor, but there's nobody, we take the minutes as staff, so there's no hired or appointed secretary that is like basically taking minutes of the thing, so that we have just eliminated that to make it consistent with our current practices. We added some review resources so that applicants can look up other places to get information on different products or different design styles. We updated the text for the certificate of appropriateness to more clearly describe it and give it a specific section. And the review criteria that the commission uses was separated out to be more explicit on what they are to review projects on and what they are not to review projects on. They were presented to the HNA on October 18th in 2022. The commission approved the recommendations by a vote of 7-0, and we are looking to have the city council do the same.
All right, questions, concerns? Feel better? Okay. All right, sounds good. No objections, and we'll do a consent for that? All right, thanks. All right, next is site improvement grant for
CD2 is related to Resolution 23012. It's a facade and site improvement grant request for $7,095.08 for 831 South State. Ron Cornello, who's in the audience tonight, is representing John Thompson, who's the owner of the building at 831 South State Street. They are requesting the funds through the grant program for the repair, replacement, and repainting of the rotted trim and sheathing, as well as front door replacement and parapet repair at the top of the building on there. The detailed scope of work includes removal of the old rotted wood and the sheathing from the face of the building and replacing it with basically like for like, but in a it's a different material that doesn't rot and doesn't warp, so it'll be a higher quality finish. That will all be painted with colors that are pulled from our Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore historic paint color guide, and the doors will be replaced as well to match actually what will be on the 829 building as well going forward in the future. The bids were listed in your packet. The painting grant request was submitted and approved as a part of the 829 project, kind of as a lump sum, and so we don't need to include that in this request. And so the total add for this portion of it is that's the next one. The grant is a request for $7,095.08, which is half, 50% of the amount for the woodwork that was listed in the door replacement and the parapet repair. With that,
I'm fine with all this. I have one question, though. That material you mentioned that doesn't rot, what was that material?
so it is the same material that's been used on 917, the white trim material, that type of stuff, as well as the panels that were used there as well. It's a poly product. It's not a wood product.
All I was going to say is just make sure it's installed right, because I noticed on 917, it gaps, like it shrinks. You wouldn't think it shrinks like wood, but it does. So apparently it had to do with the installation, so just be mindful of it, who's ever putting it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's something that we've talked about because we've recognized that issue at 917 as well.
Okay. All right. I'm good here. Anybody got anything? All right. Sounds great. Thanks. Consent then. All right. 829.
CD3 is related to Resolution 23016. This is for an amendment to an already approved facade grant that was done back in 2022 on August 17th. The original facade grant was for $5,836.50. We have since worked with the applicant and H&A members on more appropriately detailing the stucco work that was going to be done on the facade of the building. We have worked with their stucco contractor to identify different ways that we can better match the limestone on the 831 building with its jointing and other components that relate to that, and the color, tone, and texture, and the way in which the large window on the front of the building is wrapped and finished to make it more consistent with the historic appearance of the neighboring building at 831. So that's the request. We're asking for an increase of $7,400. The total grant request is, including that addition, is $13,236.50. So tonight, we are looking for approval or on consent for Resolution 23016, which will amend Resolution 22072 that was approved earlier.
All right, questions, concerns?
Do we have any renderings available?
Uh,
It would
I
be
can
really
s-
nice to put eyes on it. just
Yeah,
to
I
get an idea.
realized that that was not in your packet, so I will send that out to
Okay,
everybody.
great.
Yeah, we worked with an architect on it and internal staff, so I will send that out to everybody.
Do you prefer it to be an action item for that
Do that.
reason? Okay, so we'll do that one as an action item, and we'll take a look at stuff.
Yep, that's fine. Oh, I have a paper version of it. If you, I can pass that around if you'd like.
Yeah, send it over.
It's basically the stone that's on the 831 building has a certain height and pattern to it. It's basically utilizing the stucco application that they're doing to basically recreate that same modular sizing as it goes across both sides of both doorways there. Historically, many buildings in Lockport had that side column on the building. You can see it in the new buildings on 1016, as well as many of the old ones where you had doors that were framed out by larger blocks than what you would see in the more rubble appearance of limestone in some of the other buildings. So it's looking to replicate that and try and better tie the two buildings together between 829 and 831, since they do share so much history combined between the two of them. So that's the approach that we're taking. Originally, it was just simply redoing the stucco that was already there and painting it a different color. But we think, and the applicant is willing to raise the level of quality to the next level to try and make it more appropriate historically.
Right on.
So if you'd like to keep it on action, that's perfectly fine. If you want to put it on consent now that you've seen it, that's perfectly fine too.
Do you have anything else besides this?
That's the primary thing, because it's simply a stucco contractor. There aren't any real architectural drawings, so we worked with kind of a local architect to help identify some better ways. He serves on our H&A commission and was willing to donate some services to give some ideas for how that could be done. And then I documented that image in particular to try and convey the idea so that the contractor could understand what we were looking for.
These two buildings, they go from 9th Street to that open end there, or is there another building between that and 9th Street?
There are two buildings from 9th Street going north before you hit an empty lot. There's a space between where Country Insurance is and the north end of the 829 building that you see there.
It's a
Is that-
stairway where the parrot lives, man.
Pardon?
Yeah.
You ever seen the parrot out there? You gotta go and take a walk.
Yeah.
Arg.
Doesn't he come out there?
So how does the rest of the buildings in that string, is it going to make these look fantastic and the other ones look less than? Or
Yes, we're trying to shame them into sprucing themselves up.
Hey, if it works, it works, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, one of the buildings in that string to the north has been recently repainted and reworked. There is one building that is in some need of repair to the building. So our hope is that we can offer the same facade grant funds to be able to help them improve their building too. I mean, that's really the reason why we do this, is to improve the exteriors of all those buildings. And if it does come to shaming a neighbor into improving their building, and we're able to accomplish that, all the better for us to be able to do that.
That'd look good. Pardon me? Matt, do you want to keep it on action? or-
I'm okay with consent
All
if
right,
if
so then
the
we'll
council
change it
is-
to consent. Thank you. All right, me friends, Public Works, what do you got, Brent?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. One item on the agenda this evening is our citywide tree survey. The last time that the citywide tree survey was completed was 2013. Since then, we've had a number of new trees, several hundred a year that we're adding. Also, some trees have come down. So for council consideration this evening, we're asking for, it would be a 2-year project. So it's about 13, we're estimating about 13,000 trees. Over 2 years. The cost that was provided for those 13,000 trees was $42,500. Any tree above that, it's $3.25. So we are asking for up to $50,000 over the 2-year span, just in case. Again, we don't have an exact accurate count currently. But what this will do is this will allow us to have every tree into our GIS, so the GIS data, if you read their contract, will be provided back to us. That was one thing we wanted. I know they do have a software as part of their program, as part of their company. But again, we have our own GIS software, we have our own layers. Their data will go right into our layers. 9 different items, so we get an address, we get a species, we get a tree size, multi-stem, so that's just the amount of stems, branches, condition, maintenance need, defects, overhead utilities, and then date of inventory. So what this will also allow us to do is every year we go out, we do an inspection, we try to do on an 8-year basis, 8-year cycle. We try to trim, make sure that we're getting eyes on every tree. Again, when you're in a GIS system, what you can do is, as you populate that tree, trimmed it, take photos. If it's got any type of issues in the future, we're able to document that, take photos. It goes right into our GIS system. And again, it's right at our fingertips. Resident calls, when will this be done? When has this been done? What's the cycle? You just simply, open up that GIS layer. You can click on the actual tree and see exactly when the work was done. So it's a nice improvement. It's something that, like I said, it's about 10 years old, and we're looking to update it. So it would be resolution number 23-015. Again, this is a request for a 2-year, so the project would be over 2 years. And we're asking for council's consideration to award this to Davy Resource Group, Inc.
So let me say something back to you to make sure I understand.
Yep.
It's not just accounting for, like, there's a tree here, there's a tree here. It's knowing what the status of the tree is, if it's like dead, if it needs to be, there's something wrong with it, if it's tangled up in something, all that kind of information is part of this.
Correct. So it's actually forestry folks that come out and do it. It's not, we could have our interns go out, quite frankly, and shoot the location of each tree, but this is more than that. The condition is an important piece. The species is another important piece. So if we do end up with another ash borer, this time it's the, oak, oak bug. We at the
I think you made that up, man.
at the drop of a hat, I may have, Mayor, at the drop of a hat, we can just simply, how many oak trees do we have? We have 722 oak trees, and we can anticipate, a portion of them dying over the next few years due to this tree. Just something along those lines. But
Okay, I understand. All right, thoughts, questions?
Yeah, would this also indicate the areas where there are none in these parkways where there should be?
Be very clear to see that, yes. So, as we've gone through, one of the challenges I will say in my time here has been replacing all of the emerald ash borer hit trees. So all of those trees, when I got here, we were replacing them. It's hard for me not knowing exactly where those trees came down. I've been told we've replaced them all, but then I do hear, oftentimes that we haven't. So yes, short answer is yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because we do have a few subdivisions where there are streets upon streets where it's sparse.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that if we did have this survey, that they would also indicate to us where we are lacking trees.
Yep, and I think then what we can do is we can use that data. We're going to plant 150 trees this year. We show the locations, and then, it's another nice tool for us to present to council and for you to share with the residents.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Everybody okay with the consent then on that? All right, thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
All right, anything for new business?
I just want to announce that St. Joe's Church and School is having a chili cook-off this Saturday. if you don't know, Catholic schools and churches are hurting almost ever since COVID. Attendance goes down. We are combining our two schools, St. Denis and St. Joe's, next year. So if you could show any support, we'd appreciate it. St. Joe's Chili Cook-Off this Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. So
Is it over just right at the school?
it's at the school, yes.
Okay.
In the activity center. The new chapter of the Knights of Columbus at St. Joe's is running it. So
Okay, so 5 o'clock. All right, right on. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, Renee and Joanne, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Yours.
Yeah, lay it on us there, Casey.
All right, roll call. Saban. Bartleson.
Here?
Lobes.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Galogly.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
Karas.
Here.
Kostecki.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, looking for a motion to have a consent agenda.
second.
Mark and JR, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so tonight, we're looking for approval for our committee of the whole meeting minutes from February 1st, our regular city council meeting minutes from February 1st, an intergovernmental agreement between Lockport Township Road District and Homer Township Road District and ourselves for the improvement of the Smith Road Bridge, payroll period ending February 5th, and bills through February 7th. So looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
We
Second.
got, I think it was Pat and, was that Renee? Joanne, sorry. All right. Can I have a roll call, please?
You got it. Saban. Yes. Bartleson.
Yes?
Lobes.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Karas.
Yes.
Kostecki.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, on the agenda tonight, we've got, we're looking for approval for the railroad crossing lease with Burlington Northern at the Star Innovation District. That's Resolution 23009, so we're looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, JR and Renee, is there anything new on this that we need to hear?
I think just a minor change to the resolution that upon approval, this gives authority for any minor changes to the agreement to be approved by me, the city attorney, and then it will be approved.
All right, anybody have any further questions on it? Then we'll do a roll call, please.
Saban. Yes. Bartleson.
Yes?
Lobes.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Karas.
Yes.
Kostecki.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, next, we're looking for a motion to approve the Quiet Zone project with the Gallagher Asphalt for $358,758.
So moved.
All right, JR and Pat. Any new information there?
Just that there will be a second, we're going to come back for some fence pricing and things as well, but we'll do that.
Yeah, that was the one that I was supposed to say before. That was a little bit too early. Okay.
All right,
I just got one question on this one. With the award of this tonight, or if it gets awarded tonight, does that then give the BNSF the go-ahead to start their project as well, or to run at the same time, or do they come in after the fact? Actually, the track's being taken care of at the same time?
For this part, if you remember, we did some track work with them, I don't know if it's been 2 years now, but a year ago. This is mostly civil work outside of the right-of-way of the BNSF. There will be some fencing and things and some gates that they want to do. So once this work is and approved and we get it installed, we then contact BNSF for the final signage approval, and then there's like a cure period of a couple of weeks or a month, and then it's implemented. So it's almost automatic once we complete all the work and get it inspected and accepted. There won't be any other additional crossing work. There's no additional, gates or things of that nature. So we're finally on the end here on this one finally.
all right. If there's nothing else, we'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. Saban.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Lobes.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Karas.
Yes.
Kostecki.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, my friends, if there's nothing else, then,
Before we close the
oh, yeah, we have
meeting,
executive
yes,
request?
I
Yeah,
will
sorry.
request a motion to go into executive session under 2C11 regarding litigation, and these are all filed litigation, so we don't have to make a finding that they're imminent or probable. So with that, I would, request a motion to be made to go into executive session.
all right. Renee? Anybody else, nobody wants to
second.
do it, huh? All right. Got Christina. Christina bailed you out. Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
When, our other